Hello, class. I am so sorry. This video is gonna be terrible. Just the worst. I have no idea what happened. It's just, hopefully you can find it in your hearts to still recommend my channel to people. I'm sorry. How did you like my modern reproduction of an early modern prologue? What? Yeah, that apology at the beginning. That's basically a Shakespearean prologue. Because, by and large, prologues were just preemptive apologies. In case you don't know, a prologue is a separate introductory section of a literary or musical work. It comes from the Greek prologos, with pro meaning before, and logos meaning saying. In theater specifically, it's a speech that happens before the main action of the play, and in many cases it gives vital backstory to the audience so that they're completely caught up when the play starts. The opening crawls of the Star Wars movies are an example of this. The major difference between the Star Wars crawl and a Shakespearean prologue is that a Shakespearean or early modern prologue was usually some form of apology for the inadequacies of a play. My favorite example of this comes from The Second Part of the Return from Parnassus, written sometime between 1598 and 1602 by Anonymous. No, not that one. A different Anonymous. Okay, no, don't even get me started on that one. Another time. It just means that we aren't sure who wrote it. What is presented here is an old, musty show that has lain this 12-month in the bottom of a coal house amongst brooms and old shoes, an invention that we are ashamed of and therefore have promised the copies to the chandlers to wrap as candles in. That's bloody brilliant! If you don't like our play, it's because we found it in a broom closet and we're already thinking of throwing it away. And while the prologue from this part of the Parnassus plays is actually more of an induction, something completely different that I'll talk about another time, they're making fun of contemporary prologues, and they're using tropes from the day to do it. So this is representative. Well, that's all well and good, you say, but what about Shakespeare's plays specifically? The prologue to Romeo and Juliet isn't an apology, right? Well, the first portion of it, which everybody knows, isn't apologetic at all. But here's the last few lines.
The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage.
The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty apologetic to me. If you're all patient, then hopefully our hard work up here will make up for anything I missed in this speech. Okay then, what about the heroic Henry V prologue, Oh for a Muse of Fire? That bad boy's about as apologetic as they come. 7.5 lines in, we get this whopper of an apology. But pardon, gentles all, the flat unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France, or may we cram within this wooden O the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may attest in little place 1,000,000, and let us ciphers to this great accompt on your imaginary forces work. And at the end of the speech, we get this. Admit me chorus to this history, who prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear and kindly to judge our play. The prologue is practically groveling at the audience's feet, apologizing for the inadequacies of the early modern theater. Sorry that we can't have 1,000 people on stage. Sorry that we're too lowly to do justice to this story. Additionally, Dr. Tiffany Stern of Oxford University states in her book Documents of Performance, quote, public theater prologues and epilogues from after around 1600 and perhaps from before are generally for first performances, not all performances. End quote. Which means that these apologies were only supposed to be spoken when the play was at its most vulnerable, when the audience's bad reviews could shut the production down. So of course a smart theater would include a mea culpa before a performance. They wanted to get good reviews so they could make some money off of their work. Very little has changed since Shakespeare's day, it seems. Coincidentally, that's all for today, class. And as always, if you have any interest in Shakespeare, theater, or wordplay in general, take a second to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this topic in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And one more thing, if you didn't happen to fancy this video, could you at least pretend like you liked it so people will still come and see it? Hey, I just made an epilogue.